There we are. So this is WVQC 90.7, the voice of Knox, and this is The Big Picture, where I interview people. And today I have a very special guest, Theresa Murphy.
Hello, everyone.
She has many lists of things she has done. Theater, improv.
Nerf Club. International Club. Dance.
Photography. I just learned.
Yep. Other things.
other things I'm sure we will discover throughout the show. And so I have a series of questions planned for Theresa. But I guess first things first. Actually, I might just jump right in. So Theresa was a former president of improv. And as many of you know, I love improv half to death. It's one of my favorite, if not my favorite activity on Knox. And so I'm really excited to get to talk to a former co-president. A former president, just whatever. A former really beloved person of improv. And
yeah,
I assume
not beloved anymore.
You're not beloved anymore, but you were formerly beloved. Anyway, you're an alum. So I guess the first question, that maybe Knox people would be interested in would be, why did you choose Knox? What made you come to this wonderful liberal arts college?
So I first got introduced to Knox by my volleyball coach. In high school, because he went here and he was like, you should go to Knox. I love it. And so I started looking into Knox. And then when I applied, that's my friend.
Okay. I was like,
I applied. It was the first school I applied to. And it was also the first school I heard back from. But the main thing that got me here was I visited with my dad and we went to the Landmark. And he loved the Landmark. I actually went to the Landmark for dinner today. And so we visited two schools, Augustana and Knox. And Augustana has a lot of hills as far as the Midwest goes.
Yeah.
And I wasn't all about that life. I was like, I like this flatness.
Yeah, it likes walking
because
around.
I would get tired. Yeah. So I was like, Knox, because it was flat, which was nice. The first school that got back to me.
Yeah. Similar experiences with me, sort of like Knox was just so involved in like the process and of like interacting with me. Like they had someone come to my school and like talk to us.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and like that was so cool. And then whenever I came here, it just felt like home because I'm from Southern Illinois, which is also really flat. So it just felt like just at home. We're at a camp, really. And so
yeah.
Really, Knox just feels like one really long camp to me, like summer camp to me a lot of times. I'm just here. So very similar experiences. But every once in a while in colleges, I assume all colleges, but at Knox, people transfer, people leave. Why did you not do that?
I never had the urge to leave. Like you said, I always felt at home here.
Mm-hmm.
I made friends pretty quickly. I made relationships pretty quickly. And so I was like, well, I am also 3 hours from home, so I can just take the train to and fro. So it's a great location.
Yeah.
Great people I met, great professors.
Yeah, I mean,
I just had a good time. I never thought about leaving because it just felt right.
I mean, honestly, same here. And I think this shows semblance of that fact that like the people at Knox are so friendly and interesting. Like I've literally just it's because my show hit a sort of rocky area where the quality was bad. I haven't gotten to them in a while, but I did email people a while back, just like, hey, would you be interested in coming on the show? I know I don't know you at all and you don't owe me anything. And it's not like an actual thing.
Did you just pick a random email?
No, Trisha, person, gave me a bunch of names of like interesting people at Knox that I could interview. And so I just emailed them. I just sent out vast emails. Joel was actually one of them.
Oh.
Joel, yeah, Willison, right? Willison, last name?
Yes.
Yes. I've interviewed Joel Schleicher. I don't know if you've seen that one.
I have not. I haven't.
Yeah. And I've interviewed, of course, your cousin.
Yep, Aiden.
So there's a theme going on here where like
all my friends you have interviewed.
I've interviewed all the high quality shows have in some way involved theater and now the Murphys.
Yep.
So there's a conspiracy there, I think. At least in my opinion. But yeah, like people are so interesting and that's why I'm doing this show. And I think that's a big reason why both of us have stayed. Though I can see why people who maybe aren't as I would assume you're extrovert. Are you extroverted? Or are
Yeah.
you just,
I'm a big extrovert.
Yeah. I'd assume people
yeah.
with introverted feelings would like struggle a bit more.
Yeah. Well, with radio or with being here?
With being at Knox, maybe. Because there's
I
so
don't
much
know,
time where
'cause-
you're not forced to do anything.
Well, that's true. But I feel like over the years, the improv club itself has become a lot more introverted.
That's very
Not
true.
in a bad way at
Not
all.
in a- yeah.
Because introverts are awesome.
Yeah. Like, for example, our new co-presidents are introverts, but they're also amazing human beings.
Yeah.
And amazing people. And they'll do wonderfully. I tell them that all the time.
I know they're worried, but I'm like, we're always here for you. Don't worry. It's
Yeah.
going to be fine.
Exactly.
You got a whole support system and a whole shadow council to help you out.
Yeah. Sort of odd question in tandem with that. It might be a question I have, and I'm just going to ask it. Like, it actually is a question. So, like...
No, it's a fake question.
No.
It's not
So,
real.
like... You've said that that improv club has gotten more introverted.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think there's a reason for that you can identify, or?
I feel so. My junior year, I was co-presidents with Michelle Secunda, awesome lady. She's the reason I'm in improv club, and she and I are both very extroverted. Her even more than me, and I don't want to say that scared people, but maybe I think it actually just attracted more introverts for whatever reason.
Yeah.
They were like, wow, look at them. They're so loud and obnoxious.
Yeah.
I could just sneak on in here.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if you've heard, which I think that might be her story to tell, but like Jackie's story of how she joined improv is wonderful. We'll have to ask her about it because it's just wonderful. It's great. But yeah, I could definitely see that. And I think just how nice improv club is. Like, improv club's very accepting of people and just like, yeah, come in. I think that is very good for introverts because I'm not an introvert myself, but I know it's like I know introverted.
I know introverts.
I know introverts, so I can talk. But from my perspective, it would seem to me that introverts would have a harder time getting into something where they're social in the sense that they don't want to interact with anyone else. So like, oh, we're just our little group.
Yeah.
I feel like that could be a part too.
And yeah, a great thing about improv is you don't actually have to interact with people because when you're on stage, you're interacting with a character.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you sit down, you can be like, I'm never talking again.
I'm not. Yeah.
I'm not talking to you. We're not friends.
Yeah.
Or we are friends, but we're not talking that much.
The not talking that much friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So there you go. That was just the thing going off of that. But improv, though it is a thing you did and still
Just
do,
summer.
presumably. I mean, you still do it on and off.
Well, I have, since graduating, I haven't really been able to do too much, but the end of May, beginning of June, graduation weekend, sorry, not coming. I'm going to the improv retreat, which is just a few days in Wisconsin, where we have 4 different classes. They're each 2 hours. And we just learn new skills or have fun. So
Does
I'm
that-
looking forward to that?
How much money does that cost? Because I've looked into like improv workshops in the past because I'm like, maybe over the summer I'll do one or two. But there's often money attached to it. How much money was that? If you're willing to share that.
I think it's about $300.
Okay.
It's Thursday until Sunday, and you have 4 different classes. And every night there's a lot of shows. Like people stay up past midnight.
Man.
Sometimes the counselors will give you alcohol.
Neato. to get you through it. Yeah.
Well, because at night, after all the shows and stuff, people just hang out. And it's like camp. I mean, they have a campfire. There's people singing, making up songs.
Because improv.
Yeah. People have ukuleles.
Oh,
I only
lovely.
went once 2 years ago. I couldn't go last year because I was graduating.
Yeah.
But it's really fun. I'm looking forward to it.
See, those are the sort of things I want to start doing more of. But I know it costs money. And so I look at my parents and go like, I know I need to get a job over the summer sort of deal. But it'd be really fun to do. And so I want to do some of that as well.
Well, Chicago is the center for improv.
Yeah, it's the IO, right? Or the improv.
IO, yeah, IO is the
there's-
best,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Actually, we have an improviser who works there. Bridie Jones works there as like a
Oh, really?
like a sitting people down, but
Yeah.
like she gets to interact with these people who go there. That's really cool.
That's
to me.
cool. I need to get up there and see a show while she's working.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So anyway, improv is a thing you've done to get back on track, but that's not what you like majored in. That's not like what your apparent passion was, if I'm correct.
My parents' passion?
You're a parent, like your obvious,
or
like your main passion. It's a passion of yours, but not like compared to what you majored in.
Well, I suppose. I mean, improv is a part of what I majored in.
Yeah, which is theater.
Whoa!
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so I majored in theater. I came to Knox not knowing actually what I wanted to do. I was convinced I was going to be a Spanish minor.
Man, I have a friend who's a Spanish minor, and I just say more courage to you. I
didn't do that.
Yeah, no. Well, Spanish class is hard. It's not. I wouldn't even say if it's like hard. It's just
a lot.
It's a lot, and so I don't think I'd want a minor in that.
Yeah, I wish I could have given it more, but
it's one of those things I feel where like if there were just 10 more hours in the day, I would do more Spanish related things just to learn it.
Because originally it was really good because we had Spanish every day, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
But then it started just being 3 days a week, and I'm like, no, I need it every day.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not
going
to learn.
See, I almost feel like differently because like I have it every day, and that's just not fun. I don't think because it's like every day I'm working with Spanish, and so I have to keep up with the daily homework assignments from Spanish alongside which makes it difficult. I feel like if it was like every other day, I'd be able to pace my homework better.
I wish I could just take a Spanish class.
And nothing else.
Like all day, every day for a few months.
Just move to Spain for a bit. And it'd be Spanish class every day.
I also thought about studying abroad, but then I didn't because I like Knox too much. I didn't want to leave.
See, I've given studying abroad thoughts, and I definitely want to travel. But I also kind of feel similarly to you, like being gone for like a straight up term or more.
Yeah.
Seems horrible to me, honestly. Which
I know people have a great time, but if I was to study abroad, it would be in the fall. And then there'd be so many people that I don't get to meet. And, as an extrovert, love to meet people.
Yeah, we like to meet people, which is, I've been talking a bunch. Like, I'm excited to meet new freshmen and so on who will come next year. It'll be fun. Which I'm sure you sort of experienced that as an alum visiting.
Yeah.
And you see all these new people, and you also see people who used to be just little freshmen are now
little sophomores.
Little sophomores, yeah. Because you're not that far an alum. You just graduated
last year.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be felt even more, if not already, in the future. Whenever you come and visit,
that they're so young.
That they are now like.
Oh, the people.
They're now like a senior. Like the point where like the sophomores of now are seniors will be like.
Yeah, that I can't believe it because it's really only 2 years away, which isn't that. It really is not that long, but they were. I mean, I was just in high school 5 years ago. Which
that's the fact. I think about that, and I'm just
a long time.
Yeah,
but it isn't really.
The fact that it was just like a year ago-ish where I was in high school is weird to me, and I'm just a freshman. I can't imagine like. Geez, sorry to give you like
5 years.
You're old thing. Sorry to do that, but yeah, I mean, it's got to be just interesting to see like. New people in improv and how improv has changed since you left.
Yeah, it is interesting.
But away from like I have a bias towards improv specifically. But back to the theater. What made you? What was it in your life that led you to the point of majoring in theater? And what specifically with theater did you want to do?
Well, when I was in high school, we did High School Musical, the musical, and I was really excited to do that. I hadn't actually auditioned for anything in high school or even in grade school. It kind of just, they were like, yeah, we're doing this play. You're going to be this character.
That's kind of how it was.
Yeah. So in high school, it was really my first time auditioning. And I did High School Musical. I actually choreographed Get Your Head in the Game.
Which is a good song, by the way.
Get your head in the game.
The choreography, for Eric's birthday, we saw that movie. And it was, I hadn't seen it in a while, but that choreography was great. Anita asks,
did you play Sharpay? No, I did not play Sharpay. I played student.
Student number something?
I think it was just like basketball player / student. I already forget what like clique I was in.
Would it be the jocks if you're a basketball player?
Well, I don't think it was. Because I was only a basketball... Oh, Lydia. Kelsey? No, I was not Kelsey. But... No, I was not Ryan.
Ryan.
My best friend was Kelsey. And I was so proud of her. She was the best.
That's good. Isn't Kelsey the person who's like at the piano or whatever?
Yeah,
playing
she's
all
the
time?
introvert.
Yeah, she's the one who really should be in the show, right?
Yeah.
Like, she's the one who wrote it and knows it all.
She's really good.
Knows how it should be sung. She should be the person, I don't know, random thought.
Yeah, so I auditioned for that, got into that. I was like, this is fun. I'm going to keep doing this. And then the following year, my senior year, I auditioned for Play Ball, which was a 9-act, like 10 minutes each, 9-act, 9-inning show about different baseball things. So there was one inning where it was like a bunch of women doing a monologue about, it was based on this article that was in the newspaper. This woman wrote about how she was divorcing the New York Yankees because they weren't winning. And she had put all of her, like, so much faith into them. She's like, this is their year. It just never was, apparently, even though I think the Yankees are pretty good.
Yeah.
But I'm
not a baseball person, so I wouldn't know.
Oh, I played baseball for 10 years.
Dang.
Yeah.
See, one of the good sides of not, and even if I do end up eating dinner with the person before and getting to know them, like, you always end up learning things mid-interview. Like, yeah, it's fun. So yeah, you played baseball for 10 years. That is a significant portion of your life.
Yeah. And I miss it a lot. But I don't really like exercise. And I knew that if I wanted to continue with sports, like in college, I'd need to like do a lot of running and push-ups and sit-ups. And I can't do it.
It's a lot of commitment. And I feel like it's hard for you to do anything else when you're involved in a sport. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
so I chose theater instead. Which
is also a time-consuming commitment, but less physical effort. Well, maybe. More emotional.
You don't realize the physical effort of theater because you're doing something.
Yeah.
I mean, sports, you're doing something. There's a lot of parallels between sports and theater, which is why I like both, because there's rehearsals, there's practice, originally there's tryouts, there's auditions, there's rehearsal, there's practice, there's the big game, which is the show.
That's interesting.
I just blew his mind.
Yeah, no, that's interesting comparing sports and, but I guess then let's continue with this analogy then of sports with theater. Is there a winner in theater?
I don't think there's a winner in theater. In some companies might think the winner is them if they make enough money.
Yeah.
But I don't do theater for the money. Like, I mean, I feel like paid to do theater the last 4 years. I didn't get paid. I'm finally sort of getting paid to do theater, but
we'll get into that at some point.
The best part about theater is, for me, is just doing it, not like getting paid or getting even recognition. I don't really care.
And I think that's important. I think if you're doing something just for the money, that's kind of not the way you should be doing it. I mean,
especially theater. Some people might say that is not a lucrative choice.
Yeah. Theater is sort of lumped in there with a bunch of other majors of like, oh, so you want to be unemployed sort of mentality.
Yeah, which really bothers me.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, get ready to make coffee the rest of your life. I'm like,
yeah, I
don't even know how to make coffee.
So I wouldn't be able to do that anyway. Yeah. So, the joke's on
pretend, I guess.
Yeah. And I would agree. Like, I feel like, I don't know, just people like to stomp on people's dreams.
Yeah.
Even without meaning to, or maybe they do.
I think they're just so accustomed to hearing like, oh, well, first, theater equals actor, actor equals unemployed. No.
You can do a lot with
theater.
The theater
equals so much.
Yeah.
Actor does not equal unemployed. actors work extremely hard in order to get employment. It might be more difficult than, I don't know, working at a bank.
But I also feel like if it's your passion, then it's worth it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you can work at a desk job all your life, but if it's not your passion, you're just sort of like, just work until my next paycheck. Like, that's no way to, I don't think that's a way to live. But also, like, you have to be able to live too. There's sort of that double thing of like, yes, you want to be able to live a good life, but you also want to be able to live.
Yeah.
You know?
You do need money
to live.
to live. But you also want to be fulfilling, have a fulfilling life.
Yeah, you want wealth in the truest sense, not in the...
Wealth in the heart.
Yeah, wealth in the heart. Like, to be cliche about it, you want wealth in the heart. And majoring in something you're passionate about and love is doing that, which is good. My dad is saying something. Theater can be more demanding. In baseball, if you succeed hitting 30% of the time, you are considered really good. If you get 30% of your lines right, the audience will not be happy.
Good thing improv has no lines.
Good thing. I mean, I guess that's fair, maybe. I don't know. My dad is a sports person, so I guess.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know why. I mean, it is true. Oops. It is true if you hit 30% of the time.
Though it's also a case, something which I might bounce off you, that Joel Schleicher brought up when they were on my show, was this idea of like, because Joel does a lot of sound related things with theater, and he sort of brought up the point that, like, yeah, when it's done well, no one notices. When it's done bad, they notice.
Yeah.
Is that true in all realms of theater, I presume, or?
Well,
actually, I don't know if it's quite the same. Because, like, take Torvald, for example. We're plugging that again.
Yeah.
People were complimenting how great the actors and how great the music was. So I guess it's not quite the same.
I guess, well, a lot of times, if something goes wrong, they might not know. The audience might not notice it also. So, I don't know. It's kind of tough.
So maybe there is probably a distinction in there.
Because, like, in Hamilton, which I've seen a lot of times, sometimes...
How many times again?
At least 80.
Yeah, so, Mom, when you listen to this, Theresa has seen Hamilton 80 times. So, yeah.
But sometimes they make mistakes. And if you were seeing the show for the first time, maybe even the second time, you might not even notice that they made a mistake. So I wouldn't say, like, if someone makes a mistake, it's more noticeable than if someone doesn't make a mistake, because so many people don't even notice. So many people don't notice so much that we had an understudy for Hamilton, Joseph Morales, and then some ladies went downstairs to the bathroom, and Miguel came out, who's the original Chicago Hamilton. And these older ladies were like, "Oh, you did so well." And he's like, "Oh, thanks."
I wasn't in it.
But he wasn't even in it. People just
don't notice things.
People that go to the theater, a lot of people that go to the theater, obviously not everyone. I go to the theater.
Yeah.
Don't notice if things are different or wrong or something else.
Yeah.
Anita remembers that.
Anita remembers. So is Anita a friend from your current sort of job life thing, or is it?
Yeah, Anita was the very first person that I shadowed. So you have to shadow 3 times at each theater. So she's the first person I shadowed back in August, and we were at Hamilton. And I was so excited to work at Hamilton. She remembers. And she's been there a while. So she was done with it. She's been there the whole time that Hamilton
I feel like after
was
seeing
there.
it that many times, you're kind of like, hit or miss, you know?
So she tries her best actually not to work at that theater. But I've known her since August.
Nice. There you go. Hello, is Izzy. And Kat also made a point earlier. I forget what we were talking about at that point. It goes a lot in marketing yourself, just like theater. You have to be a good communicator and know how to present yourself. I think that's just true for all of life.
Yeah. Maybe.
I'm trying to remember what we were talking about then. But
I don't know, sports, theater,
stuff.
Yeah, stuff.
I mean, I think the statement is very true, though. Like, you got to know how to present yourself, and your own skills and your own things. So, like, for example, we were talking about extrovert and introvert. You have to know how, like, hey, you're introverted, so the way you're going to present yourself is not in a woo sort of way. It's going to be in more of a yeah. And you have to be you should still be confident in that. Like, it'd be weird to say, but like confident introversion.
Well, I think it is. Oh, she was talking about baseball.
Yeah.
I think introverts aren't necessarily not confident.
Yeah. It's like a stereotype.
I can't speak for introverts because I'm not an introvert. But they're just quiet. So I've had this conversation with my sisters a lot, and they feel we have sort of agreed that being an introvert just means that you need to be alone to recharge. So for me, being alone does not recharge me at all. It kind of drains me. If I'm alone too much, it kind of drains me, makes me feel sad. No. So I like to be with people. And so what we discussed is that an extrovert needs to be with people in order to recharge and feel good. And an introvert needs to have their time to be alone in order to recharge and be good. But
I think that's a very Myers-Briggs. I've had many a conversation with Trisha about the Myers-Briggs system. So it's interesting, but I'm not an expert in it.
Yeah, we're no experts either. We're just 4 girls and also Matt.
Yep, there you go. 4 girls and Matt. That's how it is.
Because I have 3 sisters.
Yeah, so we're no experts. Checking your
my sister's listening. Hi,
future
Baba.
Device. Your futuristic device.
Yeah, my Apple Watch.
Your Apple Watch. Those things are how fast? Like, we now have phones on our wrist. I don't know. It's crazy. That's just a random thought I had. Anyway.
Well, we don't have hoverboards, so.
Yeah. So you pursued a major in theater.
Yeah.
You did all these things. I love how I just keep reeling it back in.
He just wants to talk about theater major.
Well,
Hey, it's chill. I'm here for it.
I just want, because I don't know. What do you want?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Well, as I said long ago, probably 10 minutes ago, I came into college not knowing what I wanted to do. And then my spring term of freshman year, I took Foundations of Theater and Drama and also Beginning Acting. And then I was like, this seems good. I think maybe I'll take some more theater classes. And then I think my fall term, I took Design and Tech with Craig Choma, who is now who became my advisor. And he's awesome. Shout out to Craig. And so with that class, you have to do 10 hours of not service, volunteering in with tech. So in the scene shop or with a show. So I believe it was that fall term. If not, it might have been the previous spring. They all kind of mixed together. But it was a show called The Devil is Bored, and I ended up being the soundboard operator. So I just, was like, sound on, sound off. I was not the sound designer or anything. I also didn't really know what was going on. But at the end of the experience, no matter how stressful it was, I was like, this is something I could get into. Not necessarily being a board op, but like the whole community, as I learned about like what the heck a stage manager is and what they do and how. So this was a devised show. So, and it had a lot of improvisers in it. So that also really attracted me to the show. And then doing the tech hours for Design and Tech was really interesting too, because I got to work in the scene shop, work with lots of different people. I like being very hands-on, which is why I prefer to be behind the scenes, working on sets or working on lights. I would love to work on costumes, but I haven't really that much.
You delved into like stitching.
Yeah, I took a sewing class this past year in the fall.
Nice.
So I learned how to do a few things.
But not necessarily huge, elaborate costume.
Yeah, I made some pillowcases.
That's cool.
It's a step.
It is a step. It is definitely a step. And that kind of ties into what you're doing now, right? Like electrical work. We were talking about it last night, but it was also really late.
Yeah. Yes. So I am currently the lighting intern at Chicago Shakespeare Theater. Everybody should go see Macbeth. It's there until June 24th. No big deal. They worked so hard on it. Everyone should see it.
I'm just going to real quick be like, go see Macbeth at, what's the theater again?
Chicago Shakespeare Theater.
Chicago Shakespeare Theater. Theater, it ends March something.
What? March?
What did you say?
June 24th.
June 24th. You know, March. A month ago.
Yeah, it's going to be there for almost a year.
There we go. So there you go. That's a plug. It's a plug now.
Woohoo! Tickets are going fast.
They're going fast. So there you go.
Yeah. So I'm there for 3 more weeks. But in the meantime, when I have free time, I'm also freelance electricianing at a bunch of different theaters. There's this Facebook group that people post on. And they're like, hey, looking for an electrician for this many hours, this much pay at this location, or looking for an extra carpenter, which I learned that a lot of people call them carps, which makes sense, but that's not what I think of when I think of carps. I don't not think of carpenters.
I think of the fish.
Yeah.
The carp.
So it took me a little while to get used to people saying carps.
Hey, we need a carp. It's like, okay, I'll go to the fish.
Go to the fish market and pick you up.
Yeah. And, well, no, that's super, like, just talking with an alum is interesting, but also, like, you're interesting.
Thank
so that's
you.
fine. So there you go. Should I grab another question, or is there something I should, Hello, everyone. This is the show where Matt goes,
They're laughing. I don't know who's laughing.
Yeah, like, look at all these
I think it's Catherine.
reaction things. I see them pop up and I go, but the thing's not changing.
Sad face, flower. No, it's because when you're watching a live video you can just have a little thing pop up. Like, those are all from the same person.
Okay.
So people can either like the video that is happening.
Or the moment?
Or the moment.
Dang.
So if you go back and look at it, I believe that those things will be there.
Oh, I know something interesting we can talk about, because it's been something that I've talked about with Kat, with other people involved in theater and improv. Recently, so you mentioned that you were involved in a show that other improv people were involved in. You did.
Yeah.
That was the one you did the soundboard?
Yes, I did the soundboard. Some people, improv people were in it, but also improv people have been in a lot of
shows. But from what I've been told, that has like slowed down a little bit. The connection between improv and theater has gone less and less as time has gone on. This is what I've been told.
I felt, so at the beginning, I think, so my freshman year, the co-presidents were Andrew Cook and Alyssa Gill. And Alyssa Gill was highly involved in theater. Our vice president, Jay, was highly involved in theater. I feel bad. Other people in improv were also in theater. Yeah. Jamie Rummel, John Bird. People you don't know.
Yeah, that's fine. They exist. Shout out to Shadow Council members. Shadow
Council. So there were a lot of people involved. And I did get involved in improv first. And then I went over to theater. And then my junior year, Michelle was sometimes in theater. She directed an improvised show called Play. And so that was in studio theater and part of the studio season. So she would often say she's not part of theater, but she did do things in theater. But she was more part of the ANSO department and stuff like that.
Okay.
But then senior year was me and Trevor, and we were both theater majors. We did a lot of theater. We'd both done rep term. We'd both done
just theater things.
Theater things.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't really feel that way.
Is it just maybe a lull? Because I think the only people even moderately involved in theater in our exec, at least right now, is like Kat and Trisha, who was in
Natasha.
Natasha doesn't really come anymore. I haven't seen her at a rehearsal at all.
I don't know. I haven't been here the last
Yeah, I know.
year.
You haven't been here, so I can't blame you. I just haven't seen Natasha.
For me, at least, when I was here, I wouldn't say there was a lull in the students doing theater. I think there might have been some tension between other people who did theater and not improv. I don't know. Usually they were like, yeah, improv's cool. We don't mind.
Yeah.
But it did feel kind of like they were like, oh, improv's not theater. No one ever said that, but sometimes it did feel that way.
It did feel that way.
Or if you were like, oh, I can't come to this rehearsal because I have improv rehearsal. Sometimes they'd be like, but this rehearsal. And I'm like, no department is better than any other department or any other club. Except improv's better than everyone. I'm just kidding.
Ooh. Quote Theresa.
I kid.
Improv is better than everyone. It's okay. No one will care who watches.
2 people.
Yeah. Well, 2 people at the moment. My last video has like 400 views or something. But that's, I think when it says views, I think that means people who clicked on it. I have yet to find a way to see how long people have watched the video for. I feel like that'd be infringing on their privacy rights probably if I got to see how long they watched it.
I think so.
But it makes me confident. The fact that around, I think it was actually 500 some people.
Well, people saw it.
People saw it. So that's a thing. So yeah.
Well, yeah. Again, this year might be different between improv and theater. And I know back in the day there was some beef between theater and improv, but I hope it has been since resolved.
I think maybe it's just a matter of like time, right? Because like what we were saying, like 2 years or like just years in general, it's like it feels long, but it's not really that long. So like there might be a slight lull, but like with time, it'll go back up and then probably go back down again. So is life.
Yeah. Also, a lot of theater people feel like they can't do both.
Because time?
Which I don't know why. I've done so many things at once.
See, Theresa is the example. Like, you can do both. I mean, it's probably a lot of work, I presume. But.
Well, I did rep term, and I was co-president of Improv Club, and I was in an improv show during rep term.
There you go.
So people were like, oh, it can't be done. It can. You just don't want to. You just don't want to do it.
You just shouldn't. Well, you're saying they just don't want, like.
Yeah, I'm saying it can be done. They just don't want to do it. They don't want to put in the work, which is okay.
Which is okay, yeah.
But they shouldn't be like, oh.
Make that the excuse. Like, no, I literally can't.
Thank you, Catherine.
Like, pop culture's unicorn.
I'm not sure. I think unique.
Unique? Okay. Like, I would tend to agree with this idea of like the excuse of like, I can't do something when it's like, no, like you just don't want to. And that's perfectly okay. It's just sort of like,
I don't like the excuse of like, I can't just be like, I don't want to stress myself too thin right now.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, that makes sense.
Perfectly
because
understandable.
I've done that too much.
Yeah. Like that is 100% understandable. Theresa is a real life unicorn. You're just a unicorn.
How did she know?
I'm interviewing the first unicorn. So how does it feel to be a unicorn? That's my first question.
I finally feel like I can be myself.
Really?
Yeah.
How is it frolicking in a field?
It's great.
That's wonderful.
But I can't frolic too fast because as Catherine knows, if I run too fast, it hurts my teeth.
It hurts your teeth? Is that a thing for unicorns? Are there lungs in their teeth?
Yeah. That sounds right.
That sounds right. Breathe through their teeth. Okay. Catherine asked, how does it feel to know that your secret is out? And then followed by a yes, because
probably because of my teeth thing.
Yeah. It is a little like what we say is.
We did a scavenger hunt last February.
Last Friday.
Not last Friday. Last February 2017. And they really wanted to win, so they were running. And I was like, nope, I can't run because my teeth hurt too much.
That's funny.
And it's painful.
Yeah. So a little bit of what we were doing there with the unicorn, you could call improv, maybe. I don't know. You can call a lot of things improv, really, because it's just thinking on your feet and like.
I would consider life improv.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you might have a few questions over there on your computer, but nothing has a script.
Yeah. No, like I just have some things there in case we hit a lull, and I'm like, I need to do something before people get bored and leave,
Well-
which is not the main reason they would leave is, I don't know. It's not, who knows? Whatever. Maybe they don't like unicorns. I don't know. Rude. So, yes, involved with improv. We should probably talk a bit more about that, or at least because you stated that you did improv before theater, or you joined the improv club before you did theater at Knox.
Yes.
What was the situation of you going to that first rehearsal for improv? Like, what was it? Why'd you join? Why'd you go?
Oh, it was a long time ago, 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went to Admitted Students Day, I remember Michelle Secunda being there, who I hope you meet someday. And I just remember she was really excited. She was like, come to improv. Everyone can come to improv, which is definitely my mindset. Everyone can come to improv. Everyone can do improv. If you can form a sentence,
you can do improv.
You can do improv. If you can't, honestly, everyone.
That's what foreign film dub is.
If you can make up things.
Foreign film dub is so you can just go, and then it's the same.
If you do not have a scripted life, you can do improv. So everyone should go.
Yeah, everyone. Yep.
And yeah, I just remember her, and I remember her being really excited about it. And actually in high school, I was sort of involved with our improv club. Mm-hmm. We didn't really have an improv club. It was kind of like maybe 3 or 4 of us meeting up occasionally
to like play a game or two.
Yeah. I don't even remember what kind. We did a show once. It was 5 minutes. It was about waffles. That's all I remember.
Dang.
But I was like, this improv seems fun.
Yeah.
And so with that and with Michelle, I decided, improv something I want to go to. Yeah.
And so the staying part was that you just ended up really enjoying it and like.
Well, for the first, probably, I don't know, at least half of the term of my very first term, I didn't go up at all. Probably most of my fall term, I didn't go up at all. And it was kind of on a whim that I signed up for the very first show. I was like, I have to do it. If you were to meet me 4 years ago, I would be a lot less confident than I am now. Shout out to improv for making me
more confident.
A boss.
Yeah. Or a boss, one of the two.
Confident boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't get up unless we did like line games or group games. I was like, nope, can't do it. Not going up there. But then I signed up for the show. I was like, oh God, now I have to do this show because I'm on a stage. I can't just sit on the sidelines. Yeah. And I don't really remember it, but I think it was fun. It probably was because it kept me there.
Yeah.
And then I started going up more and continued with doing it.
Doing it.
And I never I didn't miss a single rehearsal my freshman year or my sophomore year. Junior year, only because I did rep term.
Yeah.
I missed a few.
It's been a goal of mine to barely miss any.
I think I've missed less than 10 in my 4 years.
Okay.
I don't know. And we used to have, so my freshman and sophomore year, we had it 3 times a week, which I think you guys have it back again. We had Friday Fun Day.
Yeah.
But we got rid of that junior year because it wasn't really
happening.
People didn't really go.
I mean, we have Fun Friday now, and people kind of show up. We have enough to play. We have like at least 7 people show up, or like 6, which is enough to play a couple games. We would often get
like 3 or 4.
Which makes it kind of hard to play.
Yeah,
games.
And Michelle and I were like, we both do a lot. We don't want to have this extra 2 hours to plan because it is Fun Day and it's not really supposed to be planned.
Yeah.
But there weren't enough people and nobody ever had any ideas. So.
Why is Joey up here?
I'm Kanye West and it's...
Hey, we're on a radio show. So, shush.
You're just going to hang... Okay, we're going to pretend Joey is not here.
Yeah. He rudely barged in here.
Not too really. Looks like he just came from working out. Nerf?
Yeah.
I've never been to the gym.
I didn't want to miss the show.
Okay. Well, here you are. Here you are. We have a live studio audience. So, with talking about Improv Club and you joining it, at what point did you realize that you wanted to join exec, and what was like your first position you had, and what was like the process getting to where you got?
When I was a sophomore, I went to every exec meeting. I think at the end of my freshman year, I had ran for co-PR, which I didn't end up getting because all the people who got exec that year, I think, were like juniors and seniors, which I was like, well, all right, maybe next year. But then, so my sophomore year, I sat in at every exec meeting. I didn't really say much because I was just there to observe and see how everything was going. My first position was president.
Dang. See, that shows a lot of like, you know, people say you need, well, I mean, you did show up to exec meetings and stuff, I suppose, but like, you know what I mean? Anyone can be president. Anyone can be anything in improv because, you know, it's improv. Yeah.
It's all pretend.
It's all pretend. Even the positions are just people just pretending to have them.
Yeah.
So it's a wonderful time.
Because I wasn't a real president. There was no laws or signing of anything.
You just got up and said, hey, we're going to play this game.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful time.
It was great. So,
I mean, not to undersell it too much. You got to have some sort of a charisma and like.
You have to also know how to do it.
How to do improv. You have to like know how to do improv.
To know, yeah.
Yeah.
So
there's that.
Michelle was a president her sophomore year, and then my junior year, her senior year, it was me and her. So I think that was a nice transition since she was already familiar with how to do the presidency. And then I did kind of feel like a shadow of her and not necessarily like a co. But I was okay with that because I was learning a lot from her, and I was still doing a lot more of the organizational things. Yeah. So she was more the face of the presidency and I was behind the scenes. Yeah. So I would like organize the games and the lists and we would organize like together, but we would talk about it together, but I'd really organize it because I'm all about organization. And I thought of this new method of how to do notes while in group and club by doing it on Google Docs. So I have one for each rehearsal. We would plan like warm up games, cool down, other things, because you know there's like some games that aren't necessarily a warm up or a game, they're like a group game or like there's something. There's activity. Yeah. So I'd plan all of those on our Google Doc, and I had colors. So purple was like today's rehearsal, green was like for the future, red was all done, and I put quotes in it. I love organizing.
That's really good, man. That's impressive. And I think there should be more of that, honestly. Like, I don't know. Just like, I think we've talked about this. I'm like making an improv binder. Yeah, and I like the idea of like passing stuff down. I don't know. It's fun. It's a fun thing to do. Yeah. So that's a thing. I'll be working on that mostly over the summer, probably when I have time. So yeah, you eventually became, your first position was president. Yes. And did that come about because you felt like, just like you wanted to be president and you had ideas, or what was like the main drive for wanting to be in that position?
As far as I can remember, Michelle, shout out to Michelle for really getting me in there. Yeah. She had asked me if I wanted to run with her, and I was like, I think I gave it like a day or two to think about it, and I was like, yeah, this seems like something I would like to do. Because that coming summer, I was actually going to do a 5-week improv intensive at IO, which was 300 hours, a lot of hours. Yeah. My math is probably wrong, so don't quote me on that. Yeah. But it was 4 days a week, 11 to 5, just doing so much improv. I had 5 different teachers. Dang. I think a group of 16 in our class, but in all of the classes, probably 200 students maybe. Dang. So I met all those people, and they were from all over the world. Europe, Australia, China, other parts of Asia, other parts of the United States, Canada, all over.
And how much was that again? Or did you not say?
I didn't say.
And you're not going to say?
You can look
you don't
it up
have,
if
you don't,
you
you
want.
do not have to. Like, I will not. I'm just saying, like, I've looked at those things too, and it's always so much.
It's a bit, it's pricey, but considering how much you learn and how long the intensive is, I think it's like, I don't know math.
It's
maybe
worth it,
$12
isn't
an
it?
hour. It's definitely worth doing.
Okay.
If you want to do it.
I would love to do that. It's a matter of if I can.
It's really awesome.
That's stuff I'm really wanting to do over the summer. I'm also wanting to try to get my high school to get an improv club.
Nice.
Because I have a lot of friends who are younger there, and I'm like, yo, you guys should learn how to play this and make a club. I don't know. I just thought I had, I'm like, that'd be so fun. That's just a thought. Who knows if it'll happen? It probably won't.
Well, at least you got a club here.
Yeah, at least there's a wonderful club here, and it's really good. And if you should go. Even if you don't go to Knox, you should go.
I mean, it is open.
Yeah, to everyone. Literally everyone.
It's not.
You there in Marion, Illinois can just drive up to Galesburg and drop in on an improv rehearsal.
Yeah. Drive 4 hours?
4 and a half to 5.
Come to a 2-hour rehearsal.
Yes. I think that's smart. It's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Neither do I. We kind of touched on this. We are slowly approaching the end. We do have like a little under 10 minutes.
Wow.
But a question I am wanting to ask is, as an alum of Knox and of Improv Club, what advice do you have to Improv Club people in it right now? And where do you see Improv Club going? Do you see it growing? Do you see it staying about the same? Where do you see it going? It's a loaded question.
Improv itself is not very old. I think it's about 6 or 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's grown a lot since the beginning. It was, I don't know the exact history. Other people know it more. But in the beginning, I think it was just a couple guys, maybe 2 to 5 people, a couple guys who were like, I want to do improv. Let's make it an actual club. Yeah. I think they were just dabbling in it, just having fun. They were like, let's make this an actual club. And I believe they went to Sherwood, who was our advisor, if you didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, shout out to Sherwood. And then they decided to make it a club, and I think it started pretty small, but I feel like it grew pretty fast because my freshman year, I think, was the 3rd year, maybe 3rd or 4th year.
Yeah.
I think the 3rd year. But I remember the very first rehearsal there was probably 30 people.
Dang.
And
that's a lot.
It was fairly consistent. I'd say throughout the year, we had a lot of people, maybe 50, never at once, but 50 throughout the year, in and out, and probably 15 to 20 solid. Consistently going.
Dang. That's impressive, honestly.
And sometimes like Friday Fun Day. Not so much, maybe like 5 people.
Which is weird. You think you label something Fun Friday, more people would show up? It's really odd. I want to know what the marketing is behind Fun Friday.
I think
people just.
I think it was Michelle originally made it, I believe. Yeah. I think that is the case. She invented it, I guess, just as a way to relax or cool off. But I think improv itself shouldn't be stressful. It should be fun.
All the time.
Always.
I would agree.
It should not be stressful.
There you go.
Yeah. Improv should be fun.
Always. So with that, where do you see it going?
I think it's going. I think it's going to keep. I wouldn't say it'll continue growing because you can't have too many people. Yeah. Everyone should go, but not all the time.
You know.
Can't have. I remember my very first rehearsal being the president. I think there was like 30 to 40 people.
Ooh.
And it's just a lot. It's a lot to handle.
Yeah.
All of these people, and they're all very excited, and they're all new. Well, a lot of them are very new, and they have to listen to me.
And you have to think like, ooh, how many are going to come back? Like, am I making a good first impression?
I want them all to stay. Yeah. I want them to know how fun it is, but I don't want to scare them away by being too much.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be too little. So, I think improv. I think the family will continue to grow. Maybe not the core, but I think we'll keep getting new members even each term. I know we got Liam. He's a sophomore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he didn't go to improv last year. So maybe next year we'll get some people who are sophomores, juniors, seniors, which I think is great because improv is a great skill. It's a great skill to have in life, for interviews, for
just anything,
and for talking to people, having fun.
And I think it would look good on a resume.
Yeah.
Right? Like you are able to think on your feet. People will be like, boom. So there you go.
Boom, hired.
Boom, hired, just immediately. You have no other, like, you can be...
Yeah, going to the interview. I can think on my feet. Hired.
Hired immediately. Yeah, I mean, that's all very well. So yeah, like, is your just advice just keep having fun? Is that sort of what?
I guess keep having fun and don't be afraid to break the rules because improv is not about the rules. I know I was a lot about the structure, but you have to get the structure first in order to break it.
Yeah.
But you can literally do anything in improv. You can be doing a Herald and somebody who's not in the Herald can yell like, do that scene again. Or be like, nah, I didn't like that. Redo it. Like you can do literally anything.
Dang.
Which
is great. It's lovely.
Really want people to understand
that in improv you can do
that
anything.
In improv you can do anything.
I mean, there is like we were saying earlier with theater. Yeah. There's practice and rehearsal and stuff, but like, yeah, it's a freeing experience. It shouldn't be a.
At the end of the day, if you didn't have fun at rehearsal, something's wrong. You have to have fun.
Yeah.
I mean, if you didn't have fun for personal reasons, then sorry.
Sorry. I mean, that's a separate thing.
Yeah, but if you're like, oh, improv sucked today, it's like, well, improv should always be exciting and fun. It
should always be fun. I mean, there will be days that are more fun than others, for sure.
Yeah.
But, like, it should always be fun.
Yes.
So there you go. It is now 6:57-ish. So I'll probably close it with the question I ask everyone who comes on my radio show. Every time. Probably. I've probably forgotten a few times. But the question is...
Did you forget the question?
I'm just worried I'm going to say it. If you could tell your future self watching this video or anyone watching this video, anything, say like it's a video that'll be on the internet forever.
Oh boy.
So if you which is either a good thing or a horrible thing. If you could tell future you or someone just watching anything at all, what would it be?
Nothing is permanent. But that should be taken not in a bad way. It should be taken in a good way. Like if you make a big decision in your life or even a small decision, nothing is irreversible except like, death and stuff. But nothing is really permanent. Even Sharpie.
Not really permanent.
Yeah,
there are ways to remove it.
Sharpie's not really permanent. I was thinking about this today. I actually tweeted about it and Eliza liked it. I tweeted, no doors ever truly closed. So I feel that only you have the power to make all of your decisions. And if you make them and they go poorly, or if they go great, you can always change. You can always change them and fix them. So like people who aren't comfortable at Knox or don't want to be at Knox, you can leave. You shouldn't because Knox is great. But you can leave. And if there's ever just anything you're uncomfortable with, if you're in a club that you don't like, if there's a club you've never been to, like improv club, and you're like, oh, I can't go to that. It's spring term. Yeah, you can.
Just go.
You just go. No door is ever truly closed.
So there you go. I like that. No door is ever truly closed. So that's been The Big Picture. 90.7 WVKC, the voice of Knox. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Having me.
It was lovely. Hopefully the quality is good. No one ever complained about it. So I assume it was good. So you should be able to just listen to it. Your family should be able to listen to it and have a wonderful time. And you should be able to look back and go, oh yeah, I remember when I said that. Or when you'll be able to look back and it'll be a wonderful thing. And Kat says that she loves you.
I love you too, Catherine.
So that's that. Well, I love you all. This has been The Big Picture. And that's that. Have a wonderful day. Say bye to Theresa. She might return one day. Who knows? Yes, and please.